This is where our main story of this party time begins. And it talks about that Jesus continued and said there was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger son said to the father, "Give me my share of the estate." So he divided his property between them. So this son understood that because of my father's wealth and his things that he's accumulated in his lifetime, my brother and I are going to get at some point to split these spoils. There's a time appointed for you to get the stuff that belongs to you. But in his case, he said, "You know what? I feel like I'm ready for mine right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and ask him, give me my portion now, and then I'm going to go on by my way." So over in verse number 13, not long after that, so the father divided his riches among the 2. And not long after that, it says, that the younger son got together all that he had. So that belonged to him and that had now been bestowed upon him as his portion of the goods. He got together and it says that he set off for a distant country, and there he squandered his wealth in wild living. This is where we get the opportunity to self-examine. Because a lot of us would think, why would you leave provision and blessing and abundance and run off on your own? But what I want you to ask yourself is, why did you do it? Because we all did it. We all got to a point in our life where we felt like, I can do this. I'm going to do me. Okay, you do you. But know that me means it's just you. When it was we, me, brother, daddy, and the servants all at home, we were good. It's safety in numbers. But now we're saying, you know what, I know me, I'm going to do mine. And don't let somebody tell you that you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. That makes you 10 times more adamant. Oh no, we're doing this. And I'm going to show all of y'all that I can make it. So he took his stuff, he went over, and he got into some wild style of living. And over on verse number 14, after he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he finds himself, I got the means to do what I want to do. I can go where I want, I can drive what I want, I can have all the friends that I want, I can do whatever I want to do. I got the means for it, for a little while. And isn't it funny that it didn't say that he went out into a land, there was a famine going on, and so he, rationalized all his stuff, and he rationed it out every day to make sure he could survive the famine. Nope, because the bad stuff in your life doesn't really show up until your stuff runs out. So it says that after he had used everything that he had acquired, that now a famine came, and it says the famine was in the whole land. I don't care where you go, left, right, north, south, east, west, you're going to run into the same issue, the same trouble, because God is trying to make sure that you understand something. That's the situation he's in. So it says that the famine was so severe that he hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him into his field to feed the pigs. Yeah. When you allow stuff to show up in your life that first and foremost causes you to feel like you can make it without your father, you're in trouble. Big trouble. Sometimes that's not enough. I can make it, I'm going. So then when you get out into a state where you got a lot of friends, a lot of folk around you because you got stuff, you're in trouble. When you lose all that stuff and there's nothing left, you're in trouble. All of this comes because of the decision I made to disconnect from provision and abundance and go out and do what I felt like, I got this, I know how to make this happen, I can do this on my own. So he gets to a point where he realizes, over in verse number 18, number 17, excuse me, 16. Let's go one more. He longed, after he got hired out to feed these pigs, he longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. And that's strange to me, because the Bible says that he gave them everything. How do we know that? Because he had nothing left. He gave them everything. And even slop, when it came time for it to come back around, they gave him nothing. He longed for mess. That's just how low he was. Even mess, slop, nasty things, leftover stuff looks good to me. And nobody would even give him leftover. Nobody would even give him slop to eat. So it's so funny to me, because when he left, the Bible says that he went off to a far country, a far land, to do whatever he was going to do. And in this far land, he finds himself around pigs. Because where he came from, they didn't fool with pigs. Pigs were unclean to them. They couldn't even go around them. They didn't mess with pigs at all. And so you choosing to disconnect from your father and go off on your own, you're going to run into some stuff that was never intended for you to mess with in the first place. There's some stuff that was forbidden to you that you were never supposed to ever experience, ever be a part of. But because you choose to disconnect from your father, you listen to other things, you find yourself getting into some stuff that you're not supposed to have. And now he's saying, not only am I feeding pigs, but I want to eat with them. The stuff that where my father was, I never would have ever come in contact with him at all. I'd have never been in this mess, literally in this mess, had I stayed where I was. And so we get an opportunity to see what happens when we go after things in our own strength, our own will. But thanks be to God that what we learned about in the first couple of verses is that you are somebody's 10th coin. You are somebody's 100th sheep. And so even when you make the decision, I'm heading out, I'm doing what I want to do, I'm making my own way, I'm going to do this in my own strength, somebody is at home counting. 1, 2, 3. You partying, twerking, all of it. Yeah, you having a ball. 4, 5, 6. And somebody is at home counting what was entrusted to them. And you are on their list. You are